Hawaiian coastline, moist Cita. A journey begins. A tremor ran through the small coastal village, not of the earth, but of conflict. For moist Cita, the delicate petals of her adolescence barely unfurled, the shouts and the glint of distant weapons were a terror she'd only heard whispered in hushed tones. Her heart hammered a frantic rhythm against her ribs. Instinct, raw and primal, screamed at her to flee. She turned, her bare feet pounding against the warm sand, a desperate flight from the unseen threat. The sounds of battle grew closer, a terrifying symphony of clashing steel and panicked cries. Little did she know, this panicked escape was not the end of her story, but the turbulent beginning of a journey beyond imagining. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. Her foot caught on a gnarled root, sending her sprawling. The sandy ground gave way abruptly, and with a gasp, moist Cita tumbled into the churning embrace of the Pacific. Waves dragged her from shore. Would anyone see her? Would she be swallowed by the vastness of the ocean? Just as her lungs began to burn, a faint, ethereal glow pierced the darkness. Strange, melodic sounds reached her ears, not the roar of the ocean, but something else. A question bloomed in her fading consciousness. What was this place? The current, no longer a threat, gently guided her towards a city of breathtaking beauty, crafted from shimmering materials she'd never seen. Towers spiraled upwards, illuminated by an inner light, and strange, elegant beings moved with an otherworldly grace. This was Atlantis, a realm whispered about in ancient mariners' tales, a city thought lost to the ages. Image of Aurelie, a woman with a regal bearing and kind eyes, noticing moist Cita. It was here, amidst the wonders of Atlantis, that she was found by Aurelie. Her eyes, the color of deep-sea pearls, held a gentle concern as she approached the unconscious girl. There was a quiet strength in Aurelie's demeanor, a natural protectiveness that radiated outwards. Despite the strangeness of this newcomer from the surface, Aurelie felt an immediate empathy, a pull to help this vulnerable stranger. As moist Cita awoke, disoriented and terrified, Aurelie spoke in a language that, impossibly, she understood. She explained that moist Cita had been brought to their city by an unusual current, a phenomenon that had happened before, though rarely. Surface dwellers were not unknown to Atlantis, but their arrivals were always shrouded in mystery. Quick montage of moist Cita and Aurelie beginning to communicate, exploring Atlantis. Days turned into weeks. Moist Cita learned of Atlantis, its history, its people, and its connection to the surface world, a connection far older and more intricate than any surface dweller imagined. Aurelie wasn't just the woman who saved moist Cita from drowning in the sea. She became her martial arts sensei, her sarcasm coach, and, unfortunately, her bad influence. She taught her the brute force wisdom of her brother Ursus. Punch first, ask existential questions later, the manipulative mind games of her brother Juan. Ninja-level sarcasm, because emotional damage is reusable. And most importantly, how to weaponize pure chaos. And of course, moist Cita's favorite skill was Juan's snark fu. Thus, Aurelie didn't just train, Hush corrupted her beautifully. Aurelie's not-so-subtle master plan. After their barely victorious, and frankly ridiculous, battle against the dreaded Tengu Crow demon and the Oni Lord, Aurelie and her brothers had a realization. Well, we're spectacular, but we're also 3 people against an empire of evil. Statistically, that's idiotic. Sure, they'd won one fight through a mix of skill, sarcasm, and sheer dumb luck. But the war, that required reinforcements. This legend, strangely familiar to moist Cita in a way she couldn't quite place, hung heavy in the Atlantean air. But time, even in the timeless depths of Atlantis, was beginning to press. Moist's, "Oh crap, we actually have an army now," moment. To Moist's surprise and mild concern, the recruitment list was already wildly impressive. Kawi girls, the queen of laughter, who could literally giggle enemies to death in her sleep. Hilarious. Also terrifying, mostly terrifying. Moist Circus 69. A number so motivational, it made enemies trip over their own eagerness to die. 69. Nice. Also lethal. Mostly lethal. FL My 996, aka My 96. A silent, deadly beauty who knew every shortcut. And by shortcut, she meant a 15-minute route that, after several adjustments, would take you an hour if you were lucky. Her talent? Making battles take longer, but feel shorter. War's weird like that. The ultimate battle squad, now with 100% more Atlantis secrets. This team of lethal women was ready for anything. And we do mean anything. Need to storm a fortress? We have 7 ways in. 5 involve explosives. Facing an army of undead? Kawi girls will laugh at them until they die again. Seduction mission? Makes can make a 15-minute flirtation feel like a 3-hour relationship and leave you very confused. The unlikely evolution of moist Cita, from a sweet, wide-eyed island girl to a smirking, sarcastic, lethally charming woman. Moist Cita's transformation was less coming-of-age story and more masterclass in chaotic energy. Thanks to Aureli's special mentorship, read constant sarcasm drills, the brothers' questionable life lessons, read emotional damage builds character, and her own natural talent for trouble, moist Cita became hilarious. Her jokes could disarm you, literally. Sometimes a rib gets cracked. Seductive, not by choice. Chaos just looks good on her. 100%. Done with your nonsense. Oh, you're a Dark Lord? Cute. My mentor invented Dark Lords. Was she still technically adorable? Sure. Was she now also a walking red flag wrapped in charm? Absolutely. And honestly, she wouldn't have it any other way. Except maybe with more snacks and fewer evil empires. But hey, priorities. The wax seal cracked open, revealing a single blood-stained word. Invited. Moist Cita's grin turned feral as torches guttered in the Atlantean war room, while far across the sea, every lantern, eye,